Hi, everybody. I hope that you're well. I hope that you've had a good week. Um, in the interest of complete transparency, I actually almost didn't do today's session because I heard last night that a good friend of mine, a good old friend of mine, had committed suicide. So yeah, I've been processing that grief. Actually processing, I'm not there yet. Feeling that grief, and yeah, it's powerful. And I thought about not doing this, and then I really felt into that. And a lot of what we're going through is about authenticity, and it's about showing up. And I was one of those people that used to, before I started doing this work, kind of frown upon tears, frown upon emotion, frown upon vulnerability. And in the work that I've done, I now I have the highest respect for people that can cry and show up and be vulnerable, because it takes far more courage to do that than it does to judge it. And so yeah, I just wanted to basically show up and yeah, in doing so, honor the emotional journey that this is. And I know that other people out there through COVID have lost people for various reasons, and my heart goes out to all of those people. In the space I work in, I see a lot of past life regression work, and your relationship with life and death becomes slightly different through a perspective that sees it more as a doorway than the abyss. And yet the impact grief has on you is still the same. You still miss that person and wish things were different. And especially with suicide, there's a level of grief, guilt, you know. So it's interesting to observe all of this at the moment. However, I really wanted to share this video today as well, because we actually are about to have a very powerful weekend. Tonight is a dark moon. We go into the new moon of Cancer tomorrow, and we're actually having a sun eclipse tomorrow as well. So it's a really powerful time. Dark moons are very potent. They give us a real opportunity to let go of things that are no longer serving us. So I highly encourage you to really consider the behaviors, the habits that you might have observed in yourself recently that you may want to change, that you might want to stop doing, or maybe people that you no longer want to spend so much time with, or news that you no longer want to expose yourself to, habits that you might want to shift. Even in terms of your space, thinking about clearing things out, maybe go through your closet, chuck out those things that you've not worn for the last 6 months to a year. Have a look at your space, move things around, shift the energy. In doing that, we allow space for new. We live in a culture that's terrified of the end of things because so many people don't believe in spirit. And it's sad because it puts a lot of people in this state of a desire for control, or because they don't feel like they have control of their lives, and it's driven by fear. And when you can actually move through life with greater ease, with a level of trust, you're able to have a much more fulfilling experience. And with trust, you can fail at things, you can make mistakes, and you can do so with a light heart, because you recognize that destruction and failure and endings of things are so important, because they enable us to rebirth ourselves. They enable us to start again. They enable us to continue creating. When we can embrace a dark moon, when we can embrace the letting go of things that no longer bring us joy, we enable ourselves to move into new and unexplored places. And that is a powerful, powerful way to live. So I highly recommend that you make your lists and maybe have a little bonfire, or I live in an apartment, and so I used to get a really big saucepan and put all my bits of paper, set it on light, and then hold it out the window. But I'm sure I'll have much safer and better ideas. But yeah, or maybe flush them or bury them in the garden. I like setting things on, well, I mean, I don't like setting things on fire. I like the symbolism of burning something. I'm a fire sign, I'm an Aries, so that kind of makes sense. But do whatever works for you. The one metaphor that I read that I really loved, okay, because we're moving into this new moon of Cancer, which explains a lot of what's happening. Cancer is the archetype of the mother. So it's this really beautiful, nurturing, emotional energy. You know, a lot of the feminine is around vulnerability and holding space in vulnerability, and, you know, really seeing the strength in it. This strength in vulnerability. When you're able to sit in a space of vulnerability and still hold space for yourself, no one can take from you. No one can influence you. You are your own person, and that's where strength lies. So Cancer, the new moon in Cancer is inviting this, is inviting us to reflect on, you know, how we are relating to others, but mainly ourselves. Cancer is a crab, and I read someone describe it as, you know, the crab, they carry their homes on their backs. They might have a soft belly, but they carry their homes on their backs. And I love that, because actually this is what we're being invited to do. We're being invited to hold home for ourselves, you know, to hold space for ourselves, to not rely on others to do that for us. You know, just in my last 12 hours, I did lean on my husband in my grief, for sure. And I really appreciated the love and support that I got. But when I stepped away from him and I went into my grief on my own, then it really flowed, you know, and I knew it, I could feel it. And I held space for myself, and it was powerful. And I connected with the soul that's passed, and I said all the things that I wanted to say. And I know I will continue to do that over the next who knows how long. But it's when we can do that for ourselves, when we can look to ourselves to just say to ourselves, I've got you. That's when we are holding our home on our backs. That's when we're really empowered. That's when we really feel fulfilled within ourselves. That sense of deep satisfaction of knowing that you can do that for yourself. So I would invite you to listen, to spend some time over the next few days and just listen to what's coming up for you, what you're feeling, maybe sitting with a mirror, asking, looking at your reflection, not for what it looks like, but asking that person in front of you, are you okay? How can I hold space for you? And by holding space, I mean, how can I listen to what you need and make space for you, not judge you or criticize you or compare you, but be kind to you. Leave the judgment, the criticism, the comparisons. That's the old energy. That's the energy of separation, division. It's not the energy of love and oneness and support that we're moving into. And the energy we're moving into has to start within us first. Don't expect everybody around you to come and just be super nice and supportive. It has, I mean, hopefully they will, but it's got to come from within us first. You know, I always think of that introduction you get on the aeroplanes where the gas mask falls down and they say it's to a mother, make sure you put yours on first before the child. And that's exactly right. We've got to make sure that we keep our cup full before we can give to those around us. And that's actually why today I will not be sharing a practice with you, because I need to focus on me today, and my capacity for holding space for myself is my focus. And I wanted you to see this too, because I know that our culture really lives up to this sense of selflessness, and actually that can really lead us astray, because to give all of ourselves leaves nothing, and we can't operate like that. When we give love, it's because our cup overflows and we can't help but give it. And so today I will leave you a link up, down, somewhere around here that will offer the Liquid Love guided meditation, because I wish to share love with you today. Because at the end of the day, that is all that matters. And on that note, I wish you a beautiful, destructive, and rebirthing weekend. And I will see you next Friday. So much love and blessings to you all.